This dude, really. Oh no, I need that part. Hold on. Probably not. It's football season. I'll give myself a minute, then I'm doing something else. Oh no, a lot of you people are not going to like what I got to say today. Did you read the title? Did you read the title? Kirk is not a captain, and I don't know why they're trying to make him into a martyr. I have no idea. And so my relative would say that this would be suicide. Not literally, but maybe literally. But financially, he considered it to be suicide, things I'm about to say. And since I do everything off the cuff right now, I'm just gonna say what I think needs to be said, and then we can discuss anything you want for a short period of time, and then I'm gone. Listen, Charlie Kirk is not a martyr. He's not a captain. Should lead no one nowhere at no time. And so that we're really, really clear, I don't celebrate his death, but I'm unsympathetic, I'm unempathetic for him, his wife, and his kids. I'm largely indifferent, I don't care. I didn't even know who the guy was before they shot him, because I don't delve into that kind of hate. But the more you find out about him, the less sympathetic I become, the less empathetic I become, and the more indifferent I become. And people are trying to rewrite history, and if anybody who says anything not incendiary about this guy, but just tells the truth, and they get fired from their job behind telling the truth, don't feel sad, don't be upset, be very happy, because why should you help those people make another dollar? So that is my position on that. And if you want to clip it, you can clip it right here. My name is Darren Long. I am not empathetic, sympathetic. I'm largely indifferent. I don't care about the death of Charlie Kirk. He's not a captain. He's not a leader. He's not a martyr. I don't know why you would make this man into one. I literally heard the man use the acronym BLM for burn, loot, and murder. That tells you a lot about who this individual was, as far as I'm concerned. That he would take that acronym, BLM, Black Lives Matter, and turn it into burn, loot, and murder. Kind of reminds me of some of the comments that I get on my channel where they call the people in these videos everything else in the world but people. Zoo animals, mostly animals, zoo. It just tells me everything you want to know. And then when I read articles about him that are probably just as honest, he opposed the Civil Rights Act, calling it a huge mistake. He endorsed the Great Replacement theory. America's white population with immigrants, saying it was all well underway every day at our southern border. You know, they talk about women, it's all downhill after women got the vote. I mean, who is this guy? This is the guy that you want to champion? This is the guy that I should be mournful for? I'm sorry for? If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified, because you largely believe that if somebody else is doing this job, that they're unqualified, that what did my friend tell me? That he largely believed that they lowered the standards so that this person can get a job. So they lowered the standards for airline pilots, for fighter pilots, so that those people could get a job. I mean, that kind of thinking is dangerous. You know, if I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black, this is incendiary. He could have just said black women, but no, he said moronic black women. I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? I don't celebrate this guy. I don't know why you celebrate this guy. You know what? Like I said, I don't celebrate his death, but fuck this guy. And I say that without apology, without shame, without hesitation at all. Fuck this guy. You say this kind of craziness, I can't get behind it. And I will tell you this, for a very long time now, I've been feeling like a coward for the last few years because I did not want to say what I actually thought. And I'm not talking like 24 and 25. I'm talking going way back to like the inception of this channel. Not really just saying exactly what I wanted to say because cash ruled everything around me. Now cash rules nothing around me. I don't care anymore. Now, because I think, you know, they're trying to turn this guy into a martyr. And are you trying to, this is a question, are you trying to make him equal to Malcolm? You trying to make him equal to Martin in the things that he's saying versus the things that they said? You know, so me and my friends started to talk about George Floyd and how when you say anything bad about George Floyd, that people get upset. And he was like, no, the guy was into petty crime and he did drugs, but he didn't deserve to die. He was murdered. And he largely felt that Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to get shot because of what he said. He was murdered. And I was like, I had to stop and think about it for a while because a part of me feels like he earned that bullet. But that bullet just didn't come from where they thought it would come from. Because if you listen to the rhetoric from the White House, if you listen to Nancy Mace, if you listen to all these other people who were so quick to judge, and then when they find out it's wrong, well, Donald Trump just moves on. He says nothing. And Nancy Mace just backtracks and just a little, but no one apologizes for being wrong. I got a problem about it. I got a problem with it. That's why if you go to my video, because it didn't take a lot of hits, in direct defiance of Trump, you see me burn Trump's flag. You see me burn the Republican flag. These are people who are supposed to uphold and defend the Constitution. You see me burn the MAGA flag because they put these people in office. And then and you probably can't read it, right? But I burned the United States of America flag for no other reason than Donald Trump said that I couldn't burn it. A person who swore to uphold and defend the Constitution when back in 1989, the Supreme Court, the people who interpret and says what's constitutional and what's not, said that you could burn it. So who in the fuck is Donald Trump to tell me that I can't do something that's constitutional? The son of a bitch took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. His sycophants took an oath to uphold and defend the fucking Constitution. Do your motherfucking job, you faggot ass bitches. Now, that's how I feel deep down in my motherfucking soul. Republican people, conservative people are some of the most thin-skinned, whiniest, pettiest bitches on this planet. In this fucking country. They're petty. Some woman in Mississippi who doesn't even write anything incendiary, they fire her because she says she just doesn't have any prayers for the death of Charlie Kirk because of things like what I'm reading and what has been attributed to him. And they fire this person, or they fire this officer, or they fire this person Fuck you people, you thin-skinned sons of bitches. Y'all say all kinds of crazy shit and think that we supposed to take it. I swear to God, this is one of my beliefs too. That the conservative people are so ready to fight a civil war or really talking that rhetoric because they think the other side just ain't prepared or just ain't really ready to do anything. I tell you that some of the most non-gun-loving people, if you back them into a corner, will pick up a gun and send you on your motherfucking way. Now, because I can tell you about me personally, I was working at a steak shop, having some problem with the people in the projects across the street. Some guy got shot 5 or 6 or 7 times and didn't die. And I went from no one should have a gun to everyone should have a gun. And I've been on that side ever since. Everyone should have a gun. And if you back me into a corner then, I'd have shot you to death. You back me into a corner now, I'm gonna shoot you to death. Listen, I don't like demonizing people. That's why I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. I don't even have time for it. But this, you trying to turn this man into a martyr, the way he demonizes people, the way he talks to people, the way Trump casually demonizes people, talking about we gotta stop this, we gotta stop this, there's no room for political violence, and had no sympathy because they weren't a part of his political tribe, those people in Minnesota that got killed. Had no words for them. Had no words for them. But you got words for this asshole. No. Like I said, I'm not going to celebrate his death, but I got no sympathy, no empathy, not for him, not for his wife, not for his kids, because they're socializing the kids to be just the way they are. Fuck him, fuck his mother, fuck what he's talking about, fuck what he stands for. That is my position. You can clip it and put it anywhere on the internet that you want. That's where I stand on it. Okay, my rant is done. I'll give you 30 minutes if you wanted to ask me any questions, and then I'm done with this. So let me start at the bottom and then work my way to the stuff that was earlier. I ain't fucking misguided, real Bigfoot. I'm not misguided at all. Name one thing that Kirk said was hateful? Not a problem. So he said BLM stands for black, which stands for Black Lives Matter. He said for burn, loot, and murder. That's hateful. Wouldn't you say that was hateful? He said, Kirk himself once said that black women, he named Joy Reid, Michelle Obama, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. So he named a news anchor, the first lady, that's what I've known, but she was also a lawyer. I don't know who Sheila Jackson Lee is. And Ketanji Brown Jackson, a Supreme Court justice, do not have the brain power to be taken seriously. You don't find that hateful? He called the Civil Rights Act, calling it a huge mistake. What did he say about black pilots? If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Suggesting that he's less, or this black pilot is less. God, it offers nothing to support his statements. Calling black customers moronic, this is hateful. This is hateful. You know what? I'm a mirror. I'm not Martin. I'm not peaceful, which is why I don't protest, and I've said this many times before. I'm not peaceful, so I don't protest. Because you're not going to be able to push me and not have me push back. That's not going to happen. I'm not that person. So I don't protest, but you know, me burning the flags and me doing this now, this is my own personal protest on my fucking platform. I don't give a shit what the hell happens. There will be no time for the rest of my life when I'm not working, where I will hold my tongue for what I think and what I believe and what I know to be true. Now, and we can debate it and we can be like real civil about it, or we can just, we can go at it. I don't care whichever one you want to do. Whichever one you want to do. See, now I thought this guy had a lot of sense. So I'm going to lose a lot of MAGA people, which is fine by me. Y'all can, all you MAGA people can just like unsubscribe and not watch my channel. I never liked you anyway. Because you left the most inflammatory comments on my channel. So I don't care if you leave. What you mean, come on now? Oh, yo, I'm not thin-skinned about this. I just don't think you should turn the man into a martyr. And I don't think people should be fired because they're saying what they think about the man and not really saying anything incendiary. Now, I don't think you should celebrate anybody's death. There's people that died on my channel. I didn't celebrate their death. Some people that gave me problems. I didn't celebrate their death. I thought it was a bad thing that they died. And I don't make excuses for the things that they done that were illegal, maybe some immoral. But then at the same time, you don't hear me call them animals and speak about them in derogatory terms. You've never heard me say that. I don't even think in the heat of battle, where we're just talking shit to each other, did you hear me calling them an animal and refer to them as less than. So, no, the most you ever heard me say, I am them, they are me. And the only difference between us is I have a better education and I made different decisions. Other than that, no. And listen, we don't do straw arguments and you don't get to deflect and turn the conversation any which way. This guy wasn't a good guy. Fuck this guy. I don't celebrate his death, but fuck this guy. That's my position on it. I don't care if you don't like it. You don't have to watch this channel. Oh, the country's not a hypocrite. The country is a lie. Everybody people have been pointing out the hypocrisy of politics, but especially of the Republican Party, because one of the things that they like to do is deflect. But I say it's not hypocrisy. I think it's just a lie. They lie to themselves and they lie to everybody else. And then that's going to cause the destruction of America. I don't think the destruction of America is going to come from without. I think it's going to come from within. Because they want to lionize this guy and make it seem like he was such a great person when he wasn't. That's a lie. It's a lie. Like I said, a part of me feels like he earned that bullet. He just got it from a person that they didn't think that it would come from, but a part of me feels like he earned it with that kind of speech. But did he deserve it? I can't say that he deserved it, but a part of me still feels like that he earned it. That is. No, I brought stolen goods. And I said, oh yeah, those computers that I brought from God, I can see his face. I can't remember his name for some reason. Those computers that I brought, yeah, I brought stolen, took 2 of them and showed the police that they were stolen and gave them the serial numbers. And then I found one, called up Zone 5 God, dog, boy, I can't remember this shit. Investigations division gave him the serial number, gave him the company that was when you opened up the on the lock screen, and they came through and arrested the guy. They arrested the guy. And all these videos, or not all these videos, but a lot of these videos that you see on this channel are courtesy of those stolen computers, because I was Batman on a budget. So there you go. That's honesty. That's integrity. I don't see it in this guy. I can admit when I'm wrong. You show me and you can prove to me that I'm wrong. I say, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm wrong. But I won't make any statements saying that, you know, if I see a black pilot, oh my God, I hope he's qualified. Well, if you booked a flight booked a flight where there was a black pilot, he's not alive to answer this, would you still get on the plane? Would you still get on the plane? Remember when Trump said those accidents in Washington, D.C., where I think a plane and a helicopter collided, and he blamed it on DEI, and they asked him, well, how did you know it was DEI? He said, it was common sense. Anybody would know it was common sense. And then it turned out that nobody involved was of any other so-called race than white. He never addressed it again. He just moved on. He never apologized for a statement. He just moved on. That's conservative. That's how conservatives get down. That's how Republicans get down. Fuck them people. That's why I got this fire for them. That's why they're getting this work. Because there was a Federalist, ex-FBI agent. I saw him on Jon Stewart. So his podcast saying that modern day conservatives are intellectually dishonest. He's a Federalist. He's conservative. And he's saying that modern day conservatives are intellectually dishonest. And man, I couldn't, when you hear the right words, it brings immediate clarity. I think Ted Koppel told Hannity, because I saw this, that he attracted people to his show where ideology was more important than facts. Immediate clarity. When Jon Stewart said about Trump's war on DEI, he's trying to reassert that the white man is basically the only capable man. He's the only qualified man. That's Trump. That's Charlie Kirk. These are not intellectually dishonest statements. It's not that they agree with my ideology. It's just that I saw these things happening, and I could say it in a paragraph, and but Jon Stewart could say in a sentence, Ted Koppel could say it in a sentence, this Federalist, this ex-FBI agent who is a Federalist can say it in a sentence, and it brings immediate clarity. And through my lack of articulation, I didn't have it, and that's unfortunate. But nah, man, I don't care about the Republicans. And, you know, in direct defiance of Trump, you know, when you burn something, you burn responsibly. I burnt all those flags. In direct defiance of Trump, I can protest America a whole lot, but I would never think about burning the American flag, and I never thought about burning the American flag until Trump told me that I couldn't do it. A person who was there to uphold and defend the Constitution, and it was constitutional that you can burn the flag, and he wrote some executive order that you can't burn the American flag. And then, you know, he changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. And then you find out it's largely performative because Congress would have to do that. They would have to okay it. He's taking down signs, which, by the way, for somebody who wants to be fiscally conservative, and I don't believe that it's in the billions of dollars to change all the letterhead and all the windows and everything else that says Department of Defense and turn it to Department of War. But it costs millions of dollars, oh, for sure. and you worried about spending millions of dollars and taking money out of cancer research and taking money out of here and money out of here and money out of here, but you got money to change the letterhead and change some stenciling on the window and change some signs on the wall, man, it's not even hypocrisy, it's just a lie. It's just a lie. And that's all I'm gonna call it. It's just a lie. Americans lied to themselves, then they lied to the world. Man, I just can't. The only reason why you take this stuff seriously because you got no choice but to take this stuff seriously. And you can't put none of this on the Democrats right now because they're not in charge of anything. So I don't really care what the Republicans are talking about. I'm not, and I haven't even gone into policies, and I won't even go. It's not even necessary to go into policies. We're not even demonizing them, right? All we got to do is talk about the constitutional, Trump's questionable ethics to the Senate and Congress, who also took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and just let it ride. And then you could talk about the Supreme Court, basically saying that racial profiling is constitutional. Well, not basically saying, they said it. It's constitutional. And while they tried to put some limitations on it, there ain't gonna be no limitations because some state agencies, some local law enforcement agency is going to profile you, and somebody's going to push back that it was profiling, and then they're going to push back what the Supreme Court said that we could do this and here, and some logic and reason to say that we can profile over here too. I mean, that's the way it's going to work. What do you think, we stupid? The only people stupid who have that kind of decision making, who are being intellectually dishonest, maybe because they want to deport these people, right, is the Supreme Court, because you can't say that it's constitutional profiling, but they did, so I guess you can do it, but it's going to have ramifications. There's going to be problems with it, and they're going to have to hold it, and we're going to have to deal with it. It's going to be an ugly, ugly world. And so I say vote the bigots out of office. The midterms are coming up. I don't care if you don't like liberals. You vote the bigots out of office, which is my other problem, because people will say, well, I'm conservative, but I don't hold their point of views and this, and that, and the other. But you keep voting them into office. So do you not hold their views if you keep voting them into office? I would say that you do. Like if Nancy Mays gets voted into office, you can't tell me that you don't hold her views. I mean, hell, she blamed the shooting on transgender people. Well, that's the word that I've been, transgender and trans. I mean, like, no facts. Just don't, and really just didn't apologize for her statements to nobody. Oh, and by the way, have you ever heard any politician use profanity before Trump was in office? Never mind me, I'm profane. Does that tell you something about the discourse in the United States of America right now? I'm not really highly political, but I'm tired of the bullshit. And I'm not scared to say fuck you people. I'm not scared to say it at all. Fuck you people. Don't watch. You don't like what I say? Unsubscribe, don't watch my channel. I don't care. That's where I'm at with it. Kirk is not a better dude. Kirk is a bigot. From what I've read and argued, Kirk is a bigot. And if he's not a bigot, he's selling bigotry. So I don't care nothing about him. No, I don't think he is better than me. But you're free. You're free. Yeah, well, you know what? You can hide a lot of hate behind being cordial. That's what they call Southern hospitality. Oh, bless my heart. You from the South, man. They hide a lot of hate and bigotry by being cordial. That doesn't mean anything to me. You can be cordial as you want. What do you do? What's the effects of what you're doing? So you're more concerned about the aspect of people being polite and courteous when everything behind their actions is despicable. I don't love thy fellow man. I don't love thy enemy. I told you, I'm not Martin. I'm not Martin. Because if I was, you wouldn't hear me say things like, oh, you got guns, we got guns. Let's get the guns out. Because you want the war, I'll give you the war that you're looking for. You got guns, we got guns, let's get the guns out, let's get it going. That's why my friend calls me a bit of a radical. He calls me a radical. Because I hold that view. And I hold that view largely because I'm tired. Like, you can't argue or you can't discuss something with someone who's intellectually dishonest and believes that their ideology is more important than the facts. They'll adhere to their ideology no matter what. Well, just peace. Peace. I don't need you here. I don't even want you here. How about that? So just peace, peace, and I'll see you later. I don't think he preached Jesus' words. You are a he, she, they, them. See? You know, you got the MAGA people here. And I just don't care. And even now, with all my disdain, you don't really hear the hatred. Although I freely admit that I largely disdain for Donald J. Trump in the Republican Party on the national stage. And I think the people, the MAGA people, I think they're either foolish or bigots, tribalistic, probably a little more foolish, a lot tribalistic, and then there's some bigotry in there. And I think everybody's got some bigotry in there, including me. Including me. It's not hard to be honest. It's not hard to have some goddamn integrity. And this is from a person who says nobody is 100% anything. I'm not 100% good. I'm not 100% bad. You know, I got my biases and prejudices just like everybody else. But you can't even begin to have a conversation if you don't start from a point of honesty. If you're lying to yourself and you're lying to everybody else because you got this belief and then somebody shows you the empirical facts that says what you're saying is wrong and that you deflect and try to go around it and try to use some kind of pretzel logic to make it right, but mostly what the Republicans do is like to deflect. You call a Republican lawmaker out, the first thing they're gonna say is Democrat. Not their failing, not their failed policy, not their failed reasoning. Hey, I made a mistake, it just wasn't this. You know, we got this problem because of Democrat. Jesus Christ. It's not your fucking policy, it's not the thing that you did. It's a Democrat. It's always a Democrat. It's always a liberal. You know, Donald Trump was talking about the radical left, doesn't even mention the radical right. That's interesting. So he doesn't want to demonize people, but he casually demonizes people. How are you to take an individual like this seriously? He's largely incompetent as a leader. And then he hires and puts into place people who are largely incompetent in that position. I can't say that some people aren't competent, but Jeanine Pirro seems to be known by everybody to be an alcoholic. So why would you put her in that position? I lose the language sometimes. I apologize. And Pam Bondi's a lawyer, but she's a sycophant. So she's going to try to do whatever Trump wants her to do. But Pete Hegseth, he was a news anchor. He was on Fox News. What the hell does he know about defending a fucking country? What does he know? And let's not forget that Donald J. Trump never held any political office. Now, this I got to give him credit for. A man who never held any political office, never did any civil service work, ran for president, and won 2 out of 3 times. I don't know if that says a lot about Donald Trump or that says a lot about the American people. It probably says a lot about both, the American people and Donald Trump. Because usually the answer is not this or that, it's this, that, and the other. It's, it's a combination. Nothing but, listen, I don't care. Charlie Kirk is not a martyr. Y'all should stop trying to make him a martyr. I'm not going to celebrate his death, but I'm not going to mourn it either. I'm largely indifferent, unsympathetic, and unempathetic. I got nothing. That's where I'm at with it. Okay. And he said he did nothing but speak his truth as he saw it. Okay, and I disagree. I disagree with what he saw. And I would ask him to prove it. I would have asked him to prove it. But largely, I don't think that he proved it at all. He just had beliefs, like Donald Trump. But now, if white men feel like they're under attack, you defend yourself. As a black man in America, I feel like my community is under attack, and I'm going to defend myself. I got a relative that said I sent her something political. She told me not to send her anything political. She's not interested now. She's in her 60s. And I told her, why would I? That's fine. I won't send you anything political. I probably won't even talk to you again. And she thought that was too much, and my friend thought that was too much. But I'm like, we're under attack as a community, and she's largely uninterested. So why would I want to know you? I don't want to know you. If you're not interested for yourself, you got children and grandchildren, and you should be interested in the world that they're going to perhaps live in. But if you disengage, and you will have no effect and no say about the world that they lived in because you were largely uninterested. Okay, I can't penetrate that kind of reasoning. I'm not going to waste my time trying to penetrate that kind of reasoning. I don't need to know you. I don't even want to talk to you. There is no victim mentality here. And if you talk about people playing the victim, I would largely say that's Republicans. They largely play the victim. Well, Def Cars and Candy, you can go back to the beginning of this video, right? And it won't be live at that moment, but you can hear exactly what I feel about Captain Kirk. Well, that Kirk is not a captain, and he's not a martyr, right? Y'all shouldn't turn him into a martyr. You shouldn't. But they will, like he was some great person, but he's not. He's not. He's not Martin. You're putting him on the same level as Martin Luther King. Are you crazy? It just can't happen. It just can't happen. I mean, it will happen, but not without some pushback. No, because he wasn't that guy. And I don't think even if you try to turn him into a martyr now, history will view it a different way 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, because it's all recorded, it's all on film, or it's all on audio, and the truth will just speak for itself. Now, whether people will hide the truth, well, that's a different thing altogether. Whether they will manipulate what you see and hear, that's another thing altogether. Because I'm sure that will happen. I mean, because there's some people that still speak fondly of Adolf Hitler. Not that I'm calling Charlie Kirk Adolf Hitler, because I am not. I'm just saying. He's not a great person at all whatsoever. Ah, these blacks. I don't need him to feed. Who's not feeding? Are you talking about Captain Kirk not feeding anybody's egos, or not Captain Kirk? I don't need you to feed my ego. Like, listen, you act like black people in our community don't know the ills and don't have criticisms of ourselves. And that would be untrue. That would be very untrue. My friend has got some very strong criticisms of the black community. In fact, one of my relatives have got some very strong criticisms of the black community. But at the same time, they have these sharp criticisms of their own community. They'll tell you in a heartbeat, we should be able to do it on our own. The white man will never see us as an equal. They'll never treat us fairly, and we should just like carve out a niche for ourselves within this country, and just do it for ourselves. They'll tell you that in a heartbeat, both of them. I don't know if it's possible, Yvette Carnell would say that you need a political solution. Antonio Moore, who has a lot of criticisms of the black community, I don't know if he feels that way. People like Reese Waters shows the hypocrisy and talks about the hypocrisy and the inconsistency of the MAGA movement and the Republican lawmakers and Roland Martin. While he has a little more fire, they're largely nice about it, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not going to say anything wrong, and I'm not even going to say their approach is wrong. I largely feel that probably my approach is the one that's wrong. That I am incendiary. That I am probably more of a problem than, say, Reese Waters, Roland Martin, Yvette Carnell, and Antonio Moore. Their approach, and Jon Stewart, their approach is probably more it's better and it's more correct than mine, because it's more palatable, and it's not as confrontational as the way I put it. So I would say that my approach is largely wrong, and their approach is largely correct. But I also say it's better for you to deal with Martin than, say, the Black Panthers. Could you rather deal with them? Because, you know what? Let me take that back. It's largely to deal with someone who's not as confrontational as I am. That I would say, because I'm confrontational. I'll get my hands up and tell you, you want to talk that stuff, get your hands up. I got my hands up. Of course, we're not talking that. So you're talking civil war because, people calling, HBCUs, threaten them as if those people on those campuses had anything to do with the killing of Kirk. And nah, that's the kind of stupid, those people are cowards to me. Nah, you can call me up and I'm going to tell you where you want to meet. Let's go. You got guns, I got guns, we got guns. Let's go ahead and shoot it out. Let's not play with it. Martin wouldn't advocate that. Roland Martin wouldn't advocate that. Yvette Carnell wouldn't advocate that. Reese Waters wouldn't advocate that. Oh, Tennessee Brando, some white guy in Tennessee that I watch, sometimes he wouldn't advocate that. None of the people that I watch, they're more moderate in their approach, would advocate anything like I'm saying, you got guns, we got guns, let's get the guns out, let's go. None of them would advocate that, but I do. If you want the problem, I'll be your solution. I got what you're looking for. All you got to do is bring it. All you got to do is bring it. Be committed to that nonsense that you're talking. Because I'm committed to what I'm saying. Y'all not ready for that. Y'all, I can't take none of y'all seriously. Dwayne, I've been all right, man. I mean, my mother's died. The insurance company is slow with the money. So, that thing. But other than that, I've had my moments. And for whatever reason, and this is post-death, nobody believes me, but this is post-death. My mother is already dead. And mostly people sometimes talk to me through music. Like my cousin David was a corrections officer and he got greenlit and murdered. And then Stevie Wonder, his song As, he told me to let his family know that's what he felt, I'll be loving you always. So I burnt the songs on CDs and I gave them to his immediate family. For some reason, my mom picked Jill Scott, living my life like it's golden, and I'm like, Pat, you're dead. How are you living your life like it's golden? I don't really understand. Don't you want to pick another song? Don't you want to pick something else? That doesn't make any sense to me. Pat, you're dead. How are you living your life like it's golden? I don't understand. Somebody said, well, maybe she's telling you and other people that loved her and cared about her to live their life like it's golden. I don't know. I have no idea why she picked that song. It makes absolutely no sense to me, but that's the song that she picked. Jill Scott, Living Your Life Like You're Golden. Or Golden. I guess that's the actual name of the song, Golden. So, I don't know. I'm kind of confused about it. I don't know. See, and I won't say that I don't appreciate the condolences, but yeah. Angie, I maybe thought the same thing, but me and my friend were discussing death today, and I don't know if you've ever, been unconscious. Like I had a meningitis needle stuck in my back once, and the nurse stood me up, and then the next thing I knew, I was in a wheelchair. I've been put under, and I'm on a surgical table, and then the next thing I know, I'm in a hospital bed. I mean, there's really nothing there, but then you came back. So I don't know. I just don't know what goes on. Largely, I think it's lights out and it's nothing, but I came back. So I can't really say. But maybe you're right, because I thought about that too. Maybe she feels like she's living her life like it's golden now. I don't know. I'm not in that bad of a place. I'm not in that bad. She did like the record, I think. I can't remember. Could you have done the same thing in Oakland? Rodney, one, I don't know if California laws would allow it because I don't know California laws. So, and then I tell anybody, I've advised people who do security, I've told police, until you figure out what's normal in this area, you should only do so much. You should only, well, the police largely have more powers and abilities to do anything, but some things you might police kind of heavily in some areas. In other areas, you just be like, this is kind of normal. This is not worth doing. The same thing with security. I can go on to one apartment complex and secure it one way, and then go to another apartment complex and secure it completely differently. Like, it was one place in Detroit, and I can't remember the language. But basically, she's saying that as a security force, because there was always two people there, and I wasn't there every day, that we were heavy-handed. And so I noticed that the white security officers were, in general, more strict about the rules than me and one other, and possibly one other black person, because they got rid of one, and then I think they brought in the other one, right? And I kept trying to tell them, like, listen, dude, these are rules in place that if people get out of hand, that you can use to just, calm the situation down, or before something jumps off. But you don't have to strictly adhere to them. Like, okay, so there was a rule that on the property that say after 9 o'clock, you had to be in front of your front door. You couldn't hang out in the parking lot. You couldn't do this. And there was these chicks playing with these Nerf balls and had these Nerf sticks, and they were running around, acting. They weren't really doing anything, dog. I mean, really, seriously. But the white guy that I was with, and he was polite. And that's why I say and I'm not saying he was a bigot or anything, but you can hide a whole lot of things behind being courteous and polite. And he reminded them that these were the rules and this and that and the other, and that they could play like that behind the building because it was like a townhome type thing. You go out the back door, all the yards are connected and stuff like that. And they could do that behind, but not out in front. And they were kind of confused, and I was kind of confused because for the most part, they weren't really doing anything. Like, leave these people alone. They live here. This is what I'm thinking. Leave these, because he was actually my supervisor. Leave these people alone. They're largely not doing anything. This is so unnecessary. Now, if they get out of hand and it gets too crazy, too rambunctious, if that's the correct word, then we just remind them of the rules, and you got to keep that stuff like right in front of your unit. That's when you use that rule to like shut it down. But before then, no. And so that's that can be like the dishonesty in policing too. Like you're more lax with this group of people and more stringent with this group of people. But you can hide a whole lot of things behind courteous and a polite demeanor. You can hold a whole lot of intentions behind that kind of demeanor. But I won't say that he was a bigot or any of that. I will say that he did come from Florida, though. He did come from Florida. Some of the biggest narcissists come across as selfless and kind. Maybe. I don't pretend to know. I don't know anything about New York State's weapon permits laws. I think I have a relative that says that you can get one. And then I think he was having problems, some kind of problems on a personal level with one of his exes. And she charged him with something. He was never convicted of anything, but just getting charged, they yanked his weapons permit. And I don't think he's gotten it back. I don't think he's gotten it back. You know, the Supreme Court can say anything that they want. This is the problem that the Supreme Court's having with Donald Trump. You know, not only did they say that everything he does is lawful, can be presumed lawful until we say otherwise, basically. But they have no enforcement mechanism, so Trump, like, we ain't paying attention to you. We do what we want. What you gonna do about it? So you can get a permit in New York State. They probably make it as difficult as hell, especially if you live anywhere near the boroughs of New York State. I know in Erie County it was harder to get a license to carry than it was in Niagara County. I kept hearing that. So, I mean, that's all I got for you, because I don't know. Blacks do a higher percentage of what? And listen, when you make these kind of statements, right, I would like you to, in your commentary, I got this information from here. Or say, I believe this. I don't have anything to support my belief, but I believe this. Or blacks, what do you say? Blacks do a higher percentage per capita, moron. Where'd you get that information from? And if you say you got that information from Charlie Kirk, where did he get that information from? So we're not going to be intellectually dishonest. We're going to dig down into the facts and the data. We're just not going to say any old thing. I don't say any old thing. And I'll tell you, if it's something that I believe, I say I believe it. This is my perspective. This is what I see. I won't state it as a fact that is like it's absolutely positively with uncertainty. Republicans like to deflect. I see that all the time. You know, and if they get it wrong, they just move on. You can see that out of Trump. All that fire for before they found out who actually shot Kirk. All that fire and all that commentary, and then when it was found out, not only was he white, but he was MAGA white. He didn't say nothing else about it. It's talking about the ballroom, which, by the way, you're trying to save millions of dollars, and you got the Department of Government Efficiency, which is an end around of the appointments clause to get Musk and his people to do this, because you had inspector generals, and you could have demanded that they do things differently. Could have done all kinds of things. So you just, instead of adhering, upholding, and defending the Constitution, adhering to the Constitution, you found a way to do an end around the Constitution. That's what I see. And then instead of the Republican Senate and Congress, who also swore to uphold and defend the Constitution, said, hey, dog, no, you can't do that. Put the brakes on that. That's not constitutional. They don't say nothing. They just let it go. Hey. So, yeah. This is what I see. And it seems to me that it's largely disingenuous. It's a lie. They like to lie, and they like to from what I see, they like to lie, and then they like to redirect the conversation and deflect and do a whole bunch of other, especially because they want to say things and just say it and then just have you accept it without, providing real facts. That's how, to me, that's how they move. Okay. Open your eyes. I don't know. I talk with my eyes closed, man. I don't like looking at myself in the phone, so I talk with my eyes closed. No, I haven't gone to the back to the Metro Mall. It's not even open. Oh, they just legalized open carry? Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with open carry. They're carrying guns anyway. Now you can see it. Don't stress it. I mean, I'm from Georgia. Sometimes I would open carry. Because sometimes it's just too hot to conceal carry. You know, carrying a gun, uh, especially when it's hot outside, man, dude, it's a large investment. I mean, not like a car or nothing, but it's a large investment. Because then you have to find a holster that works for the way you like to dress, or you have to find different holsters for the way you dress differently. And then there's businesses that don't want you to open carry because it makes people nervous, and I get that. Uh, and it's just a lot of investments in a, you know what? Then you need to really learn how to physically control the weapon, and then you need to learn like the laws. You know, it's a large problem I have sometimes with Georgia. Like, oh yeah, they'll give you the permit, dog, but they're not teaching you anything. They're not teaching you any laws about your responsibilities. None of that. They're not giving you a good legal education. I think if someone hands you a gun, you should have a good legal education, because there can be differences between what you believe is morally right and what is actually legal. Those can be two different things. And so, I mean, when we talked about, you know, the last problem that I had is because someone told me they would beat my ass, and I told them, no, what you're going to do is catch these bullets. And then I get arrested. But then people lie and embellish and lie to the police, and then the narrative, you know, the video exposes what actually happened, and then, you know, you don't win. And then sometimes you have to make a legal decision, and I still got my permit. At the end of the day, I still got my permit. So that tells you everything about that case. I still got my permit. So there you go. What's going on with you, Mad Max? I don't know if I have an A+ personality. You know what, dude? I don't think so. I think I come to you with a little more integrity than what most people are willing to admit publicly. Like, because I'm saying I'm not 100% or 100% that. So I'll tell you about the good things, but I'll also tell you about the bad things, right? Most people only want to tell you about the good things, and if somebody calls them out, then they'll admit to the bad things, or they'll try to make excuses for it, or deflect or something. And I just, you know, I'll just deal with it head on. I'll just tell you what it is, because why not? Why not be honest when you can be honest? I don't have to tell you everything. But if I'm going to tell you anything, what it's not going to be is a lie. And why won't it be a lie? What have you heard me say? You're not important enough to me for me to lie to you. There's no reason for me to lie to you. There's nothing that you can do to me. Hell, I don't lie to the police, and they can lock me up, and I won't lie to the prosecutors and the judges, and they can imprison me. And it's not because I don't even consider them important enough to lie to. You're not important at all whatsoever. So why even lie to you? I don't really care about you. I understand that you got a job to do and this and that and the other, but I shouldn't even have been arrested. But hey, and damn sure not prosecuted. Damn sure, because if you watch the video and you listen to his statement, you listen to my statement, you could tell immediately that he was lying. All you had to do was watch the video, but the prosecutor didn't watch the video. I don't think that prosecutor watched the video until the last time I talked to him. So there it is. Nah, I'm not trained to go. No, I'll still work at that mall. I'm not feeling perky. You burning any flags today? No, dog. I think I made my statement. I think the title was correct in direct defiance of Donald Trump. Because that's what it was. Because I would never burn the American flag. Except he said that I couldn't do it. I would have never, it never even came to mind to burn the American flag. And like I said, I got a lot of gripes with America and how I've been treated in America. But I would never burn our flag. Not until he said I couldn't. Who in the hell are you to tell me that I can't? A person who took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and the Supreme Court said it was constitutional, gonna write an executive order saying you'll do a year in jail if you burn an American flag. Well, bitch, I burned it. Now what? Now, I think if it, had I been able to do it on private property, I couldn't do it on private property. And I could have had the flags unfurled and burned them, and it'd been more dramatic. It would have got more views and play. But I had to do it in the public place, so I had to adhere to certain policies. And so when you burn responsibly. So that's kind of funny. So it wasn't dramatic, but it was just my statement. It was just my protest. So that's all it was. Like this Kirk thing, I don't want anybody to turn this guy into a martyr. I really don't. I won't be able to stop it because look like that's what they're doing. But he's not a martyr. He's not. He's not. He wasn't a great guy. He is not. He is not. No, I will not smoke crack. But I did burn the flag because it's constitutional. Is it constitutional to smoke crack? You see the flaw in your argument, I-90 West? The Supreme Court in 1989 said you could burn the flag in protest. And Donald Trump, the person who took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, says that you can't. Now, you juxtapose that to it's illegal to smoke crack on the federal level, on the state level, and it's not constitutional to smoke crack. It's not a constitutionally protected activity. No? Once again, Skank Muffin, you're deflecting because we're not talking about the Democrats. The Democrats are not, on the national level, are not in charge. They really can't affect any decisions being made. And it's not about who cares about me. That's deflection. We're talking about largely the President of the United States, the Senate and the Senate and the Congress, and all the Trump sycophants, all who took oaths to uphold and defend the Constitution, are not doing such. It's a problem. We're not talking policies, but a lot of their policies I don't agree with. But and I'm not even going to go into it. But because we're just talking Constitution, you took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. Just do your fucking job. That's it. So when Trump wrote that executive order to say, burn the flag, Pam Bondi, who Department of Justice, should have said, Mr. President, that's constitutional. They have the right to do it. She should have. That was her job. She should have stopped him. When President Trump wants to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War, the senator in the Congress says should say, hey, listen, sir, you don't have the ability to do that. Only we can do it. All you hear is crickets. You don't hear anything. You're not upholding and defending the Constitution. That's not a policy. What can I tell you? Hey, you cannot fire inspector generals like that, or you can't fire these people like that. That's not constitutional. They don't say anything. Hey, the Department of Efficiency, no. Oh, what about the emoluments clause? No, sir, you can't accept this plane. No, sir, no. They don't say anything. Oh, some Arabic country invested millions into your cryptocurrency, and all of a sudden a Biden era executive order saying that, nah, we want to kind of keep these AR chips and keep this advantage to ourselves. 3 months later, you'd be like, nah, y'all can get as many AI chips you want. I'm going to rescind this order. Y'all can get as many AI chips as you want. The man has questionable ethics, and the senators and the Congress are doing nothing to stop it. So, and these are not policies. This stuff that he's doing is largely unconstitutional. I won't even discuss policies. I don't think you have to go that far. I do. I mean, if I come down and look at them, I mean, I'll go back. It's called the Department of War when it was first incepted. Yeah, but they changed it to the Department of Defense. You understand? I forget what Homeland Security was called before it became Homeland Security. And I remember when they changed it, and I like, man, this sounds awfully 30s and 40s and 20s, like things they would say to 20s, 30s, and 40s. This terminology, it smacks of imperialism, and all these acronyms. Then when you delve into the history, and I can't get into, because I've read some books, and some of these organizations started in the 20s and 30s and 40s. These federal departments. I mean, they still actually exist. Like, what the? But okay. I don't miss working at the Metro Mall. No, I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. No, Mr. Muffin, has not been changed back because Donald Trump cannot unilaterally change it back. It has to be approved by the Senate and the Congress, and they haven't approved it. He's making all the changes on the letterhead and the stencil on the glass and signs on the wall, but nah, it's still the Department of Defense. And see, that's my problem. That they should just tell him no, or they should go ahead and approve it. They should do one or the other. But until they tell him no, or until they approve it, there should be no changes and no money spent making those changes. I believe he unilaterally feels that he can do whatever he wants. I mean, I think you're stupid, I-90 West, Department of War. That's what I talk about. Ideology taking precedence is more important than the actual facts. What you should say, I-90 West. No, it's not the new name of it. Actually, legally, it's not the new name of it. And so why don't you go look that up and then come back and talk to me? Or come back and say, oh, he can do it unilaterally. He does not need this. He does not need Congress and the Senate to approve a name change. And I don't even take you seriously. And so now that I see who and what you are by your commentary, you will now be ignored in perpetuity. I will pay you no more attention. You're not worth the time. You're being dishonest. Fred is in Macon. How do you know Fred is in Macon? Uniparty, two wings on the same bird. Sometimes you feel that way. Check in. Who's going to check in? Okay. So we got anything else? You got anything else? Because what I've been doing this for 75 minutes. There's only 34 people watching. Listen, you watched. You heard my gripe. If you got no more questions, then I'm going to get out of here. Because this is the way I do this. And if I lost a lot of subscribers, a lot of MAGA people, a lot of people who support Charlie Kirk, and a lot of MAGA supporters, I salute you. Thank you for unsubscribing and no longer being involved. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you, people.